program, and we are just about ready to ask our final interviewee of the evening, and that is going to be, let me see if I could find her. Um, oh, I think she is gone. Let me see if I could find her. Um, Amanda, if you are still out there, I don't see you in my list of people that I can pull up. So I don't know if you're still out there, Amanda. I'm going to pause for a second here. I'm going to send you a, oh, here you are. Oh, here is your request. Okay, I didn't see you. Your request, go live. Fantastic. All right. So this is Amanda Boekelheide of the Manhattan Shakespeare Project, and we'll wait for her to join us. Amanda,
Hello, hi.
how are
How
you?
are you? So nice
I,
to meet you, Rodney.
it's a pleasure. I panicked for a second because I looked at my list of people that I could pull up, and you weren't there. So I thought I had to find a way to find you. But I'm happy you're here. I'm happy we can connect.
Here I am.
All right. So Amanda, I was reading your resume. I was checking out your website. You have had a very diverse career of things that you've been doing uh, in terms of
Yes,
performance. I think you started out with dance and with some other kinds of performance, and then later on you moved into Shakespeare. Is that right?
I have always had a really strong physical background with theater, but my love of Shakespeare started in eighth grade when our class went to go see a production of Romeo and Juliet done in high Italian fashion at Oregon Shakespeare Festival. And
Oh, wow.
immediately I was like, oh, this is what you can do with Shakespeare. It leaps off the page and exciting things can happen with it.
That's so great.
So
I
it's been
also had my aha moment in eighth grade, so that's great to hear. Go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, it's been a parallel love of mine that's run along experimental theater, that's run along film and TV, that's run along writing, all sorts of things that I love to do.
Okay, and you're originally from the Portland area, right?
That's where my family is. I'm a
Okay,
Canadian. We moved around a lot when I was a kid, and
okay,
and my family is actually on all the West Coast. We have some people in Washington, some in Oregon, and some in California. So
okay. All right, all right. And at what point did you make your way to New York City?
in 2003, when I came here to go to Columbia University, where I studied with Kristen Linklater, who, if you know, is the author of Freeing Shakespeare's Voice and a major figure in the Shakespeare scene. And she was
Absolutely.
formative in work that I did. So,
She's like the for anyone who doesn't know who Kristen Linklater is, she's like the definitive teacher as to how to use your voice and how to speak Shakespeare.
yeah.
So the fact that you had a chance to train with her at that level is it's amazing.
Oh, such an opportunity. I mean,
Hmm.
it really fed into the work that I do with Manhattan Shakespeare Project and Sarah Eisman, who is the founder of that company,
Hmm.
because we do Shakespeare in the Park as well, but we do it without any mics, without anything, maybe just in a grassy field or up at one of the small amphitheaters. And you really have to project to get the words out to people who might be, sitting on a grassy knoll somewhere.
Right, right. And I was going to ask you about this because I became familiar with your group, the Manhattan Shakespeare Project. You and Sarah do your own Instagram live. I think you do it every week, every Sunday evening at 8 o'clock. You have
Yes,
and for the as long as I've been seeing you guys, you've been doing the one sonnet a week, an exploration of one sonnet a week during the coronavirus era, and I wasn't sure before that what work you were doing. And so you guys were doing you ladies were doing outdoor Shakespeare in the
correct.
park.
Yes.
Okay,
I'd love to talk about both those things because
go
they're
for it.
really great. And Sarah, who's the founder of the company, is really
Hmm.
motivated and has encouraged a lot of people to explore Shakespeare, not only for the first time, but seasoned veterans that have worked together as well. So when the pandemic hit, we were talking to one another and thought, oh, what can we do? And somehow it came up that, oh, why don't we do a weekly podcast that is all of the sonnets? But we knew that Patrick Stewart was doing his, so we didn't want to go
Right,
forward.
right,
So then we changed it up, and we're working backwards. So we started at 154, and
right.
since we only do one a week, at about a year mark, we've only done a third of them. So we still have about 2 years more of this project to do. So
I was going to ask you about that.
yeah, you can come see us do sonnets for the next 2 years on our Instagram Live. And we'd like to invite other actors to join us. we've had an actor named Ash Knight from Canada do a couple of the readings, and it's been really lovely. It's very casual. We just read the sonnet. Nobody needs to memorize it, and then we dissect it a little bit. We talk about what it means to us, how it hits us, maybe some of the background and what the language is, and maybe what some of the words mean, how the concepts that inform the sonnet might have been different during that time period. Sort of anything that strikes us in that particular sonnet.
And what caught me about the most recently, I think the one you did last night was about for anyone who is informed about what's happening in New York City right now, the big thing that everyone's abuzz about is the introduction of Little Island
Oh,
on the
yes.
west side on the Hudson River. And I think you ladies were over there and you were doing your sonnet right in the with the backdrop of Little Island.
Yes. Which
All
was
right. Yeah.
trying to get on the island, but next time.
Yeah, right. It's it's tricky. It's free, but you have to have a reservation, and they're very specific about how they let you onto there.
Right. For all of you who might be interested, it's free until noon, and then from noon until I think it's open till 1 a.m.
1 a.m. Yeah,
You have to get scheduled tickets, and they're sold
yeah.
out far in advance. But
Right,
let
right.
me tell you a little bit about Manhattan Shakespeare Project because they're a
Please.
great group. It's an all-female group of actors who have done a lot of the plays. Although we did have one show that was three men and three women, but then it actually exploded and became an issue. And then only Sarah and myself did the entirety of Macbeth with invited actors to play the porter and some people to come and read other roles. But we each took a third of the play ourselves,
My
switching
goodness.
roles. Yeah, it was actually really fun. And that afterwards, I was very thankful that those actors had freaked out and felt they couldn't do the show and just left us 5 days before we were supposed to open. And
Two
there,
floor.
I know, it was really absurd. I mean,
Oh
it
my
was like
gosh.
the kind of actor's nightmare that where you have you have a space booked, you paid for the space, you have audiences planned. We had student audiences that were set up through schools who were coming to see
Hmm.
the production, and suddenly our cast just whoop, left.
Well,
So
we said earlier, necessity is a mother of invention, and you created something new. You created something unique.
it was it was quite fun actually. And one other thing I want to say about the company itself, and I hope you at some point will get Sarah on your show and have her talk because she's
Sure.
wonderful. And for
Hmm.
any of you viewers out there that might want to do a Shakespeare project yourself, the company name is open for proposals because we tried to turn it over to some other people at one point, and the transition didn't really happen. So it's in a bit of a hiatus. I mean, the coronavirus has also definitely put it there.
Right.
But
Yeah.
one of the things that I think is unique about the company is that we take the shows and we divide the roles up between smaller casts. So we had a production of Romeo and Juliet where Romeo and Juliet were only playing Romeo and Juliet,
Hmm.
and the rest of the five-member cast, those other three people played all the other roles. So for that particular
Hmm.
production, I played 11 roles, and I would switch from Friar Lawrence to Tybalt to whomever. And what I really enjoyed about that is that we came up with a gesture set. So we were experimenting with movement for that. So each actor might play Friar Lawrence. Friar Lawrence wasn't just mine, for example, but Friar Lawrence had a set of gestures that would reoccur. And so the audience could have a sense of who that character was through the way they moved. And I thought that
Hmm.
was really fun and special. Who knows if it
Well,
was successful, but we
well,
had a
that,
good
that
time.
harkens back to your background in dance or in
Yeah.
movement. So that's great. Yeah, you're informing your work with that previous study. So that's and I was checking out on your website. I think in the pandemic year, in addition to the work you and Sarah have been doing with the Manhattan Shakespeare Project, with presenting the sonnets once a week, you also published two books. Is that right?
I published the first one in 2018.
Okay.
Uh,
Oh, so it's before the COVID era.
yes. And then
Okay.
the second one, Moving Darker, I think that was 2020. It was right around the time when the pandemic was starting. And I have a third that just needs final edits. And you can actually find it online already, but you can't purchase it because there was some holdup because of the coronavirus, and it just needs to sort of get out the door and be out there. And those are poetry, There's actually a Shakespearean sonnet in the first one.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah.
Fantastic. So you are a prolific performer and producer of content. And we have someone here, JAS Colored Curls, says, Amanda.
Oh, jazz! Yay!
All right, so you have your fans out there.
I do. She's a former roommate of mine, and I love her. She's wonderful, and it's great to see her there.
Okay, so now as we're kind of sort of making our way out of the coronavirus situation, and some groups are starting to slowly get their feet back into live performance, is that something that you and Sarah are planning to do with Manhattan Shakespeare, or are you going to stick to the Instagram live format with your weekly sonnet performances?
Well, we definitely will continue those Instagram live sonnet performances. We have talked at some points about maybe doubling them up so it happens faster, maybe doing two per
Hmm.
week, or just
Two per
get it.
episode or something like that.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
But in terms of full productions of Shakespeare in the future, that's uncertain. And I think that's why I was mentioning earlier, if anybody out there has a proposal that they want to make to Manhattan Shakespeare Project, please feel free. We might consider it as a thing to happen.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, great. So, if people want to check out the Manhattan Shakespeare Project, I think on Instagram it is Manhattan Shakes Project, if I remember that correctly. And they can also look up your information.
Sorry, I think you wrote it down in the bottom of the description for this thing where it's on your advertising. So definitely, please do check us out. We would love to see you there.
Absolutely, yeah. And after this program completes, the program will save in its entirety on our IGTV tab on our Instagram page, and I will link Amanda and the Manhattan Shakespeare Project, so you can easily just click onto the link and get into their page. You can see all the weeks of sonnets that they've recorded between the two of them over the past year and some change, and you can connect with them individually. And if people want to check out your website, I was checking out your website. You have a lot of fun stuff on there. I think it's amandaboekelheide.com. Is that right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. So
Oh,
fantastic. So
people out there, any actors who want to come be on our Instagram live to read a sonnet or to comment on it, now we can get like three or four people in the same screen. It gets a little,
right.
but
Yeah.
it's really fun. So
Yeah.
please.
Yeah. Instagram Live until just recently, as you said, was just the format that we have now, just two people speaking. But they just finally kind of are catching up with the Zoom and everything else, where they're allowing three or four participants. So the options are expanding.
What about you, Rodney? Are you an actor?
I was for many years. I was an actor, I was a director, I was a producer. I wore many hats in my own journey through the New York Shakespeare scene for many years. I was active probably in the late 90s through about maybe 2010 or thereabouts. And then I took a hiatus for a while, and I've come back in the past couple of years, and I've been kind of re-exploring the scene and getting acquainted with everything that has happened in my absence. And then I was about to take this interview show's concept, into a live audience format, where I was going to be doing this almost like a monthly, or I don't know, bi-monthly talk show in a stage or in some kind of setting where we would have a live audience with us. And then the coronavirus happened. So this Instagram live format seemed like the best approximation of what I had planned to do at that time. But I'm very happy that, I mean, of course, you never want the whole world to shut down, but despite the fact that it has, I'm happy that so much creativity has happened, and I'm able to see so much more Shakespeare from people like yourselves that I might not have otherwise come across in the wide world of New York City. So I'm very happy to be able to check out your content and that of all of our other guests here tonight.
Nice. Well, come read a sonnet with us sometime. We'd love to
I
have
would
you.
love to. I would love to. We'll connect, and we'll arrange that at some point very soon.
Great.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Amanda. People can check out the Manhattan Shakespeare Project, Amanda Boekelheide. They're doing one sonnet a week, and they have a lot of other great things happening. And you can check out her website for all that information. Amanda, we will wish you a farewell for tonight, and we will
Mhm.
hope to see you soon.
Thank you. Come see Sonnet 96. Bye bye.
Sounds great. Okay, and that was Amanda Boekelheide of the Manhattan Shakespeare Project, along with her colleague Sarah Eisman. So, thank you everyone who has joined us here tonight for our live Instagram interview program. we had four fantastic guests. We had Jonathan Reed